What is executive department? The executive branch carries out the law. This means that the executive branch is the one who enforces our laws.
It is composed of the president. The president leads the country. He or she is the head of state, leader of the national government, and the commander-in-chief of all armed forces of the Philippines. The president serves a 6-year term and cannot be re-elected. Next is the vice president. The vice president supports the president. If the president is unable to serve, the vice president becomes the president and he or she serves a 6-year term. Next is the cabinet. Cabinet members serve as the advisor to the president. They include the vice president and the head of executive department. Cabinet members are nominated by the president and must be confirmed by the Commission of Appointments.
Article 7. Executive Department. Article 7, Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in the President of the Philippines. Section 2 are the qualifications. First, natural-born citizen of the Philippines. Second, registered voter. Third one is able to read and write. At least 40 years old on the day of the election. And lastly is Philippine resident for at least 10 years immediately preceding such elections. The Vice President has the same qualification and term of office as the President. He or she is elected with and in the same manner as the President. He may be removed from the office in the same manner as the President. Section 4. Manner of election. First, the President and Vice President should be elected by direct vote of the people.
Election returns for President and Vice President as duly certified by the proper board of canvassers shall be forwarded to Congress, directed to the Senate President. Not later than 30 days after the day of the election, the certificate shall be opened in the presence of both houses of Congress, assembled in joint public session. Fourth is the Congress, after determining the authenticity and due execution of the certificates, should canvass the votes. Fifth is the person receiving the highest number of votes should be proclaimed elected. 6. In case of tie between two or more candidates, one shall be chosen by the majority of all the members of both houses voting separately in case this result in a deadlock. The Senate President should be the acting president until the deadlock is broken. The court should act as the sole judge over all the contests relating to the election, returns, and qualification of the president or vice president, and may promulgate its rules for the purpose.
Section 4. Term of office. President, 6 years beginning at noon, June 30 immediately following the elections and ending at noon on the same day, 6 years later. Term limitation. Single term only, not eligible for any re-election. Any person who has succeeded as president and served as such for more than 4 years should not be qualified for election to the same office at any time. Vice President, 6 years, starting and ending the same time as the President. Term limitation, 2 successive terms. Voluntary renunciation of the office for any length of time is not an interruption in the continuity of service for the full term for which the Vice President was elected. Section 6. Salaries and emoluments.
First, official salaries are determined by law. Second, salaries cannot be decreased during the tenure of the President and the Vice President. Third, increases take effect only after the expiration of the term of the incumbent during which the increase was approved. Lastly is prohibited from receiving any other emolument from the government or any sources during their tenure. Vacancy at the beginning of the term. Vacancy. If the president-elect fails to qualify or to be chosen, the vice president will be the acting president until someone is qualified or chosen as the president. Next one is if the president-elect dies or permanently disabled, the vice president will becomes the president. Lastly, if both president and the vice president are not chosen or do not qualify or both die or both become permanently disabled, first Senate president or in case of his inability, the Speaker of the House should act as the president until president or vice president should have been chosen and qualified. In case of death, disability, or 1 and 2 Congress shall determine by law who will be the acting president. Vacancies after the office is initially filled. First, if the president die and permanently disabled or impeach or resign, the vice president become president for the unexpired term. If both president and vice president die, become permanently disabled, impeach or resign, Senate president, or in case of his inability, the Speaker of the House shall act as the president until the president or vice president should have been elected and qualified.